Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Julia.
And this is the Bad Bitch Podcast.
As always a pleasure to be with you and spend time with you. And really, we do just do this for fun.
We just do this as an excuse to hang out. Can I say, you look fantastic. I feel
As
like we both look very smart today. We blazed it up.
Yes.
I know I've done it because it's still so cold.
No.
I'm just over this weather, and a blaze is a way to stay warm. But I feel like we look really smart. Today we're doing some good morning, like 80s Good Morning Britain TV presenting.
Channeling our rivals.
When is it back?
Can be May the 15th.
Yes.
If we can have an extra spot, we would love that, please. So yes, rivals, call us.
Oh my God. I think you and I actually could do morning television. Apart from the fact we'd have to get up early in the morning.
Oh no. Yeah, no.
We could do afternoon
television.
Afternoon television.
One of those afternoon shows, but it would be a really cool one. It wouldn't necessarily it wouldn't be
Anyway, you look great. The dog's
here rocking her oat coloured blanket.
I feel like she looks like
I love it.
You know, like in a Western, they have the donkeys that are like the pack horses. I feel like, and she's big enough.
Yeah,
she looks like that. We're gonna send her back. Cleo, we started the podcast. Go back to bed. Go on. Go to bed.
This is my cue. Oh no, we are.
Go to bed. Good. There we go.
Wandering around, living her best life.
You know what? Before we record, because you're going to think I'm a bad dog man. Before we record, I take her out for an hour's run. I feed her. I play with her. I put on her heated blanket. But I think what it is that we start recording. Mm-hmm. And suddenly there's an energy to this, which is a great one because we're really into this. And she can pick it up. And so she's like, something fun's happening in the corner of the living room.
Because I thought this.
I want to join in. So she'll be calm as a cucumber. And then we start and she turns up.
I do feel it is like that. Because I was thinking when, like last week when we played her the audio to just settle her down. Yeah. And then she was really good and she was really chill. And then she then wanted to get involved, didn't you, baby?
Let's take it as a compliment.
Exactly, because it's like the energy is we've gone from just lie yourself back and very calm when I'm feeling like I need to fall asleep, to let's vibe and talk about like all the cool stuff and and there is lots of cool stuff to talk about. But first of all, this week's sponsor. Yes, so this week we are sponsored by the amazing Hannah of Navigating Your North Node, and she is responsible for this beautiful rose quartz bowl here, which you may have seen in previous episodes. And lovely Hannah, number one, if you ever wondered what a fairy of the woodland realm looked like or acted like, that is Hannah.
Oh no, I've met her. She's fantastic. Yes. Yeah.
And Hannah does wonderful crystals and she does tarot reading as well, and she's starting to do astrology charts as well. But yes, her crystals are all consciously sourced. And she takes great pride in her work and explaining to you what the different meanings of the crystals are. And she explains things in such a beautiful, clear way. And she's just so kind and compassionate. You can really see her passion for what she does come through. So yes, thank you to Hannah of Navigating Your North Node for sponsoring this week's episode.
Well, thank you, Hannah. First of all, we love you. We really do. Hannah has such a wonderful energy. And I do think there are some people out there who are just natural guides for people. Hannah really feels like she is one. Mm-hmm. And she, even if it's just guiding you to find something special to put in your home that's like a very calming anchor point, then she's a really great person to do that. She has got that very calming energy that I think we need to kind of reconnect ourselves, and a fascinating story that we won't get into as to why she does it as well. How do people find Hannah?
So Instagram, Navigating Your North Node, or her website, www.navigatingyournorthnode.co.uk.
And as always, we'll put her details in the show notes. So thank you, Hannah.
We will. Thank you, my love. What's been going on this week?
Well, apart from the fact it's been freezing cold, which is just driving me mad because I'm so ready for spring.
Me too. Or summer. I'll take summer.
Well, yeah, just any kind of warm weather would be really nice. I've been back up in London seeing clients, which is great.
Nice.
Because of the geopolitical backdrop, which we won't get into as this is not a podcast about politics, but for some of my clients, they're in industries that are very directly impacted by what's happening in the world. So that puts stress levels up. It also means they're doing a lot of decision making, which is really interesting because we talked about that on a previous episode. So I've been helping clients, frame that, make sure they're making calm decisions in stressful situations. But what's interesting is I'm seeing a trickle down effect of stress Because even if you work in a business that doesn't seem to be impacted by what's going on globally, your bosses might be impacted, or just the fact that the UK economic climate is impacted, it does mean that we're seeing more stress at the high levels in organisations.
Yes.
So I'm both seeing that working with those senior clients, but I'm also seeing clients further down experiencing trickle-down stress. And one of the ways, interestingly, quite a few clients this week have seen that, is that their bosses have started trying to control things.
Right, okay, yes.
And I know in our next episode, we're going to talk about self-sabotage, and one of the saboteurs is control. And when we feel stressed, a natural response is to try and control the things we can control.
Yes.
So if at work you're stressed because you're not sure how the business is going to go, or if you can hit your targets, or just prices of something you're trading are so volatile, then you might then try and control other things. And for the less self-aware, they start trying to control the people in their team. They're all over them. They're micromanaging them.
Yes.
They're being extra critical. And so some of my clients are on the receiving end of that, and I'm helping them navigate that. Because sometimes you need to know when to push back, and sometimes you need to understand when that's just your boss showing signs of stress. You kind of need to let it just wash over you and ride it out. And I think for a lot of people, the latter's probably the right way to go.
Yes.
Have you been seeing that with anyone as well?
I find that clients have been generally, like, their levels of anxiety has been elevated. And also we do say in session, it's like when we control the things that we can control, we do have more tolerance and bandwidth for the things that we can't control. However, when it comes to the things we can control, that doesn't extend to other people. We're talking about it in the context of what can I do for my well-being? What can I do to steady the ship, make myself feel good? What do I need to up the ante on in terms of looking after myself so I'm cool, so I then don't start impacting on other people? Because it becomes like that full circle thing, really, because once we start trying to control other people and we're being micromanaging, then that sets them on edge, and then they will respond back, which then impacts our stress, because then you're like, my team aren't doing what they're supposed to, they're giving me shit basically, and then it becomes like this whole big cycle where everyone's not having a lovely time. So yes, we talk about controlling what you can control, but from a well-being point of view, and definitely not other people.
And I think if this is something you're experiencing right now, whether it's at work or even with your loved ones, this is a really good time to practice taking a breath.
Yes.
And not reacting to somebody else's stress or control. I actually remember I once was in a car accident, and it triggered me to suddenly become very controlling afterwards, because it was quite traumatic. And the person I was in a relationship with at the time actually told me, which was really helpful, he suddenly said, have you noticed you started trying to control everything, including me, since this accident? And that actually triggered me to go and get some help from a psychologist and unpack that. That was really helpful. So sometimes you can point it out to someone. But what was really helpful on top of that was, because he realised it was to do with the accident, he chose not to react to it.
Yes.
If he had been reacting to that, I was already obviously going through a period of stress, having gone through this accident. That could have gone really badly. So I think this may be a moment, if you've noticed people in your life becoming more controlling, maybe ask, what could that be? What might be on their mind? Can I talk to them about that? And can I take a breath and not react to them?
Is it about me specifically, or is it, because it's all about context, right? If you know that someone's had a car accident and then they're acting in a certain way, that's very different from they're just acting out of character for no reason at all, or they've just turned into this like little mini level dictator,
or they've always been like this, and it's just getting progressively worse instead of like a noticeable change.
So very easy to say when we're having a lovely time on the sofa about taking a step back, but not always easy in the moment. But if you can take that breath and take
we're not it's not like we're perfect at this. I think we need to emphasize that to people. The things we talk about, we've not completely nailed them, or we just don't go through life just going, oh, I can just see that person's reacting to that, I'm not going to react. We are all human beings.
Definitely. And we're just figuring our way out of life.
Well, as a human, what's been going on with you?
So I had some big news. I left my job at the bank.
Yay! So exciting.
Doing full-time hypnotherapy now, which is amazing. And I've had the privilege this week of working with some amazing clients, meeting new people like that I can collaborate with. It's just been a really wonderful week, and I've just really enjoyed it.
I hope you're really proud of yourself, because we talked last week obviously about career pivots. It does take a lot of courage, though, to take the full leap of leaving the security. We talked about certainty, leaving the security and certainty, backing yourself and going all in. But also we said it is about doing it at the right time, and it has felt for a while that like you've now got to the right time to do it. So it's really, this is where you have practiced what you preached and listened to your intuition and built up a client base already.
Definitely. And can I swear, please?
Yes, of course.
Because there are moments where my primitive brain will literally say out loud, "You're fucking toast, mate." And
you've only just started. How can it even say that?
Because it's like, this is so primitive brain, and as we know, there's very little difference chemically when we think about things and we do it in real life. My primitive brain has merrily skipped down the path of how this is all going to end. And it's like, but it's realizing that, is that, what was it? My one of my really good friends, is that possible or is it probable? You know? And this is definitely something. It's having that awareness to step back and go, it's possible, but it's not probable, because at this moment in time, I've put in X, Y, and Z in place that helps like me feel safe and secure. And then that then in turn means I can focus on building an amazing business, helping my clients, and just really working towards thriving and building something really good.
And that's exactly what we talked about last week, about keep reconnecting with that positive goal, because I know that what you do really helps your clients, and I know that also really feeds you as a person.
100%.
And it's, if you stay connected with that, you will do good work, you will attract the right clients. We know that. And then if we go into a place of lack and fear, we also know that restricts us in terms of our selling and our marketing and all those things. So there is mindset work, and I think it is reassuring for people to listen who maybe look at us and think, oh, we know what we're doing. For you to actually express the fears that come with that. And I'm 10 years down the track on leaving my corporate career and setting up my own business, and so I'm in a very different headspace. But I do remember starting out thinking, why would anyone like pay me to do this? Because I've, when it's your like very initial customers. The great thing is you've been doing this for ages already.
True. Yes. So I've already I've built like some evidence for my brain to be like, do you know what? It will be okay.
Yeah, it will be.
It will.
And it's very exciting. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, my lovely. Should we talk about potential? God, my goodness, can you remember those days?
Before we talk about potential,
I'm so excited. I want to talk about potential.
I know you do. I know you do. But have we stopped talking about pop culture? Is there no more pop culture left?
I thought, do you know what? In my head, we've already done it. We haven't.
It's because we talked about our lives.
My brain,
which is fortunately, our lives are not out there in the media as pop culture. No one needs this in the Daily Mail. Tell us what's happening, because I don't know. I can't do this section.
So I've rehearsed the pop culture segment in my head so many times that my brain is now like, it's done. We've already done it. That is the power of brains, people.
I haven't heard it.
So yes. So, brand new information for you about the 10th rehearsal for my actual brain.
Yes.
So, one of the cool bits of information that I have come across around my travels around the internet this week is that Julian's in LA are an auction house. And what they have done is they have acquired some of the props and the costumes from And Just Like That, which we talked about obviously last week about reboots of TV series. So, And Just Like That is the reboot of Sex and the City, which obviously everyone loved. And Just Like That wasn't quite so well received, hence the third season had a bit of a dead end, which then turned out to be not only the season finale, but the series finale. So this week it's a month-long auction. You can do it online, but you can actually buy bits of the And Just Like That set. The key items that now there's none of Sarah Jessica Parker's clothes, unfortunately, because it is written in her contract that she keeps everything. Can you imagine how smart that was?
Oh my God.
Day one, Sex and the City contract.
So she
Season
got to keep
one,
everything,
every outfit. The John Galliano newspaper dress, the Vivienne Westwood, obviously wedding dress in the film. What else have we got that's like
all the shoes.
iconic? All the shoes, that Gianni Versace dress that she wore in season 6. They're all owned. I don't know where she keeps them. She must have like a massive like storage unit. But yeah, all of Sarah Jessica Parker's clothes are kept by her. But there are some shoes from other cast members, and one of the items that have captured the audience's attention the most is And I feel like this isn't a spoiler, because if you haven't watched it by now, then it's not a spoiler alert. But in season 1, obviously Mr. Big passed, and there is a note card written by Samantha, who obviously did not make an appearance in And Just Like That, sending flowers to the funeral. So one of the key auction items is this handwritten card.
What does it say?
It just says "Love, Samantha."
And people want to buy that, even though that's just written by a prop director who's just created that as a prop.
Yes.
See, I find that bizarre.
Yes. It's
that people would spend money on that.
I suppose it's there's different levels of fandom. People will connect with it in different ways. So yeah.
But it's something someone's worn if you're a real fan of that piece of art.
Yes.
That's like a film or something. I actually can understand that.
Yeah.
But this is a prop that someone's literally just written something on a piece of paper. But that's the thing, is to someone else that's really meaningful, and to me I just think what a waste of time.
Yes. And yes, I suppose it's different, like you say, different for different people, but there will be people that will love that. I'm interested now. It's got me thinking, if you could have one item from any film, what do you think it would be?
Oh my goodness, I'd have to think about that in advance, because if it was clothing, it would probably be a Grace Kelly outfit from one of her films. So she had some, like in High Society, she had some fantastic dresses and things like that. So maybe on the spot, probably something like that. But there must be more. There'd be a more interesting object, from a film. I mean, what are your one of the things to think about is your favourite films. One of my favourite films is Top Gun, but I'm not going to get like a MiG in my living room. So I don't know what would be because I loved Top Gun. I mean, I loved it so much. I've watched it probably more than any movie. I even threw a Top Gun party. And we all dressed up, and we all had the little name tags, and
that's so good.
So I don't know, something
you could
like
have
that.
Like his Ray-Bans from the first film. That would be cool.
Yeah, something like that.
Then
might
you could
be quite
wear
fun.
them.
Well, what would you have if you could have something from?
Because now you've got me think. You've unlocked the petrol head, and now I'm like vehicles.
Oh, one of the cars out of Fast and the Furious.
Yes. See, I didn't even think of Fast and the Furious. I was literally like the silver DB5 from like Goldfinger from the James Bond film.
No, it's got to be is it a Mustang he has in Fast and the Furious? Vin Diesel has the black one.
Yes.
Probably.
But that probably wouldn't be I'd obviously pick the Skyline.
Oh no, so I'd pick them up. There we go. We can have one each. That's it.
That's very good.
But see,
so then that's just like.
But see, that's something where, although that still isn't like my dream car, but I can understand people buying an iconic car from a movie and having it in their car collection.
Yeah.
So I do understand.
Yes. But not a prop card.
Not a prop card, no. And I think even clothing, as I said, maybe something from Grace Kelly, but even clothing, I think I'd rather buy something that I could actually enjoy. And the great thing about a car is you can, unless it's something that's so pristine and you don't want to remotely damage it, but I would always want a car I could go and drive around and then really enjoy it.
See, cars like that would be, as my dad and brother and I think a lot of other people call them, garage queens, as in they will just stay in the garage, which is a shame, because I'm like, they're there, like you say, to be enjoyed and driven.
Yes.
But yes, a lot of people, because of the cars and because of the iconic status, will just keep them in. Mate, they live better than like people. It's like temperature controlled, like they're on trickle charge, dehumidifier, all in the garage. Yeah, that's the kind of life they'll lead.
Yes, whereas I wouldn't want a car that was so in such perfect condition and so special that that I felt like I needed to keep it like that, because I would want to really enjoy it and drive it.
Yes, which reminds me, we will talk about this off air, but we need to go to the next Cars and Coffee morning at the place down the road.
We do. Right, so we've done a bit of an, and I wasn't expecting that, an unusual auction. Very interesting. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about potential and what to do if you feel like, if you're not, because there's that thing that you will see on your report card, has potential, doesn't channel it, sort of thing.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
You know what mine used to say?
Go on.
Emily would do really well if she paid attention.
AKA is not living up to potential because isn't applying herself within the constructor school.
Right.
But they will leave that to one side. But yes, it's like what to do. We're going to cover in just some nice little basic steps what to do if you feel like you're not fulfilling your potential, because you will have people come into your life and they have a very different take on, number one, how you should be living your life.
Yes.
There will be people, to be fair, that will see your brilliance when you perhaps don't. But those people won't turn around to you and be like, you're not fulfilling your potential. They will gently encourage you to step outside your comfort zone and be your biggest like cheerleaders. That's very different from those people in your lives like turn up like your school report card, as in you're not fulfilling your potential.
Their idea of it. And I think that's a really nice place to start, is actually, you know, defining what that potential is that you want to achieve. Because I think that everybody has an infinite potential.
Yes.
And we actually have many different routes we could take. And one of the exercises I get my clients to do sometimes, if they're thinking about that career pivot, is I say, if you had 10 different lives, what would your 10 different careers be? And so, and you know, let's not get too spiritual, but maybe it's possible that we live this life several times, and in each one we have a different career and different potential that we fulfill.
Or because I'm always like with like quantum, like string theory and like quantum physics, it's like even if I'm not doing that in this life, I'm doing it in a parallel life.
Exactly. So if we say that it's not like we just have one potential to fulfill, there's lots of different areas in which we have a lot of potential. One of the important things is tapping into which area you want to explore and which has meaning for you, which is actually one of the things I put in my book, Maximum You, is some questions to help people answer that. Because often it gets projected onto us. So for example, if you're, let's take like the Beckhams, right? David Beckham was a very talented, extremely talented footballer who was driven to practice obsessively from a young age. He then has children who may, through genetics, have some of that natural talent. And he may watch them play football and see huge potential in their futures as footballers. I'm thinking particularly of his boys. And I don't know if he has or not, but he could then, as a parent, the temptation is to see that potential in the thing that meant a lot to us, and then see that our child has that same potential and push them in that direction when it's not really true to them. And what we see with his children is actually you can see the boys in a way trying different things out because they're trying to work out the thing that they want to go and explore, and it isn't football. So I do think one of the things to watch out for is you have lots of potential in lots of areas, but your parents might tell you you have potential in the area that they value, that either they've explored themselves, or it might be an area that was unfulfilled for them. That they didn't get to express. Maybe they were a frustrated actress, they never really got to act, and they see that skill in you, so they really push you in that direction.
Definitely, I do see it. I don't think with the Beckhams, but I know Wayne Rooney, I think 2 of his sons are signed already to like a young stars football club,
and they might be brilliant at it, and that might be the thing that they love the most. So it's not to say that you also shouldn't do what your parents did, but I do think it's important, you know, as you grow up and as you're becoming a self-actualizing adult, to really go, am I doing this for me because it's what I want to do, or for someone else? Because I do think that everybody is talented in lots of different ways.
Definitely.
And you and I have different careers we could have had as well that we would have been really good at. But it's just working out, where do I want to find out my potential? And one of the ways I like to think about potential rather than potential is really, where do I want to find out what I'm capable of? Because I could be, for example, one of the things I explored as a teenager was becoming an accountant, because I know it seems like, you look at me now and think,
I'm not saying anything, but continue.
But I would have been a perfectly good accountant.
Yes, you would.
And I was inspired because one of my parents' friends was an accountant, and he seemed to be living a great life, which he was. I don't think it was because he was an accountant, but he had this fantastic Cobra, like car.
Amazing.
And he had a speedboat, and he travelled. Like, he had this great life.
So it's less about being an accountant, I'm hearing.
But my childlike brain went, well, what does he do for a living?
Was it 2 and 2 equals
sports car and a speedboat. So I did work experience in accountancy, and about two hours in, as a 16-year-old, thought, this is not for me.
No way.
But I could have done that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There's lots of things I could have done, and I could have found out how far I wanted to get in that part of my career. And I went into finance, which I really loved, and I wanted to find out what I was capable of in that context, and I did. I got pretty far pretty fast. But then even then, I could have gone further, and I thought, actually, no, I found my potential here. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
What would I like to be really, really great at?
Yes.
And I realised I wanted to help people thrive in their lives, and particularly in their careers. And I wanted to help as many people as possible. And so I was like, right, so how do I fulfill my potential in that direction? And I think that can change, as we talked about last time in pivots. But I think it's one of the things you've got to work out is, where do I want to find out what my potential is? And just because you're capable of something doesn't mean that that's what you should be doing.
Exactly. And I feel like, so if like we have, I agree with you completely, that infinite potential within us, and therefore to achieve your potential, it becomes more about where you feel you're going to thrive the most and what you enjoy and what fulfills you. Because as humans, we all need purpose, right? And we need to feel like we're fulfilling our purpose. That's very important. And so potential becomes, to fulfill your potential, it's about picking things that feel really great and true for you and that bring you joy.
I want to just bring one caveat in though, because I don't think everybody, to be happy and fulfilled, needs to be pushing themselves to the extent that maybe you or I or some of our clients do. That last week we talked about motivators and we talked about certainty. There are some people that for them, a very fulfilling, satisfying life will be to have the same job for their whole lives, to have it be very structured, to be very stable, to be a very stable person for their family, for the people in their life. And I don't want anyone to take away from this conversation the idea that there's anything wrong with that or there's anything less than that.
No.
So I think this question of potential comes in if you feel like something's missing or that there's something undone or that you're thinking about legacy and what will I leave behind and is this enough? But if you're feeling really contented and happy with it, then I think that's okay. I don't think everyone has to go and do some deep work and find a purpose and then go and really push themselves. I have seen for myself and a lot of clients, a huge amount of positive personal growth can come from that. But it doesn't even need to be in your job. It can be, James, who runs Rugged, he sets himself all these really amazing physical challenges and achieves them. It might be that outside of your career, it's that you're finding out what you're capable of physically or in resilience. And I do think there's a huge amount of confidence that comes with that. But I don't want everyone to feel like, oh, every day I have to be pushing myself to the edge. That I don't think there's anything wrong with stability is what I'm trying to say there.
For sure, because I feel like we can get our brain hears potential and then it translates that message to amazing career, amazing ideal family, smashing all the jobs, we're meditating for an hour in the morning and we're like cold plunging and meditating and red light saunaing and sitting in our boots, the compression boots and everything. I don't really understand too much about it, but I see it and I think... but I'm sure it has a very good place if you're an athlete. So yes, what our brain interprets fulfilling potential as doing all the things, but actually it can mean what we want to do and makes us, we can apply it to just one of those areas.
Well, and one at a time.
Exactly.
Like I'm a mother right now, I'm not, but say someone's a mother right now, they might say, I want to explore what my potential would look like as a mother for this particular phase. Or it might be, I want to contribute, in a charitable sector or contribute to my community. What would that look like? So it can also be this kind of very nurturing aspect as well.
Exactly. And I feel like as well, with potential, we feel like there's a gold standard, but actually fulfilling our potential is doing the best that we can with our circumstances and where we find ourselves at in life right now. So if you are in the trenches, you're in a difficult career, the children aren't sleeping, anything like that, sometimes doing your potential is just doing the best you can on that day.
Absolutely. So let's unpack a little bit then about what are some of the things though that might make someone just even feel like they're not fulfilling it, but that might not be true, but it's sometimes it's just that they're having that feeling because it's almost like that inner critic. So what makes people feel like they're not fulfilling their potential?
I feel like it's like that little, it's not like so primitive brain and that emotional voice will show up and it'll be like, this isn't right, you don't know what you're doing. That's like the voice of the inner critic. It's quite dramatic, it's quite loud and very shouty. But when it's like, it's the small voice that keeps appearing in maybe the quieter moments that is like, I don't know if I really like being here. It's a much more...
Is this it? Kind of question. Yes.
Is this it? Can I do this? Can I see myself? Do I want to be doing this? I can't believe, like, in 10 years or 5 months, 5 years, 10 years, is this all there is? Is this all I want to do? That's kind of like a little quiet voice that says maybe I'm ready to sort of start growing just to the next stage.
I think that is such a good way of phrasing it, of then thinking about making a change. And one of the ways I saw it was when I was in my banking career, I would look up at the people above me because that's obviously where you're heading if you keep going. And I would think, I mean, I was very impressed by them.
100%.
But I would think, do I want that life?
Yeah.
Is that what I want to be doing with my time when I'm at their age?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I go through those questions with my clients, and sometimes they're like, yes, great, I want to be there. Sometimes they're like, yeah, no, I really. Some of them have a very strong reaction, like, oh my God, I absolutely don't want to be where that person is. And so I think that kind of looking ahead and saying, if I keep tracking in this direction, how am I feeling about it? Is a really good question. Because that, again, coming back to our last episode on pivoting, that can be the sign of, do I need to pivot? Is it just a mild course correction? What is it I'm not doing right now that means I don't feel I'm fulfilling my potential?
Exactly. Sorry.
And then what I was going to say, on the flip side of that, then there can be, you figure out something else you want to do, but then it gets really scary.
Yeah.
Because I think an easy place is just to kind of stay in the safe zone and do what everyone expects of you and one foot in front of the other. But if you suddenly get an idea of some potential you might have in another area that you haven't fulfilled yet, it might be getting you out of your comfort zone. Obviously, all that, primal brain things kick in. And actually, sometimes the idea of being incredibly capable or achieving a lot is scarier than not achieving and just being in the middle of the road. There's something that the brain can find terrifying about finding out what we're really capable of.
Because we're opening ourselves up for the potential that actually we're wrong and we might fail and it's going to be like the worst thing ever. That's how primitive brain will convince us. And it's very compelling, right? Which I feel like you were saying beautifully about like playing down the track. Like, do you want this career? Do you want to end up in the same position of this person if you follow this path? Doing that, but in a way when you feel good and calm and not emotionally charged, is very important, because it will give you like a more true reflection of how you're feeling about it. Because you could make an assessment of like on the day your boss is having a really bad day and you'll be like, absolutely not, I don't want that. So just having that, playing it forward, which is great, playing the outcome forward when you feel good and calm is an amazing way to do it, I think.
I do also think, though, there is also that part of building that inner foundation, because if we take ourselves out of our comfort zone, if we're like, oh, I want to go in a new direction, or I really want to find out what I'm really capable of, that's going to push me out of my comfort zone, or that might put you at risk, because if you're really going for it, you might risk failing in front of people, which obviously we have a fear about. I think that one of the important first steps is to just do a little review. How solid am I in my sense of self-worth? Have I got backup plans if things go wrong? Do I have people who will give me security and support so that I can take that risk that helps me find out what I'm really capable of? Like I often think about sports people. They go out in front of the whole world and try and be number one at something. And if they come number two, or if they come last, or if they fall over and hurt themselves, everybody sees it.
Exactly. And it's like when they go to the Olympics, it's not like these are the top athletes in the world. And literally, even if you come in last place, you're still way ahead of like however many billion people there are on the planet. Primitive brain will go, you're last.
Well, so my friend Aaron Phipps was in the Paralympics in Paris, and I went to see him, which is incredible. Now, Aaron already has a gold medal in Japan. He's a total legend. So he's already been the best in the world at something, which is just like, that is so crazy to me.
It's awesome.
And so I went to Paris to watch them.
I've always wanted an Olympic gold medal.
Have you?
Yeah. I don't know what
is. Your unfulfilled potential.
My unfulfilled potential. Right, everyone. No more hypnotherapy. No more podcasts. I'm going to go and be an athlete. As James would tell me, you're too old.
Did he tell you that? That's very sweet of him. Love that. So supportive.
It's very accurate.
No, but there is something
Aaron.
incredible, right?
Yeah.
Imagine. I know I'm never going to have Olympic gold. Imagine having Olympic gold at something. So he has an Olympic gold at something.
Freaking brilliant.
Absolutely incredible. But when they were in Japan, they weren't allowed anyone to watch because it was in the pandemic.
Okay.
So his family watching pro. I was watching in my PJs, watching the TV at home. I actually wept when he got a medal. I was like, it's so wonderful.
That's so amazing.
And then he said he was going to be in Paris. So I thought, great, I can go and watch my friend. In my head, I'm like, win another gold medal. Okay.
I love it.
And they came fourth.
Okay, brilliant.
No. No.
But not if you're an Olympian.
No. If you're
and especially if you've had
an
a gold
Olympian,
medal
coming
winner.
fourth is the worst.
Yeah.
You don't get any medal. It's like actually fourth is in some ways worse than second if you've already had a gold, because he's already got a gold in the bank. Mm-hmm. And so I watched these grown men weep when they came fourth, weep publicly in front of everyone, because they had worked so hard and they were so close, and then they didn't get the medal. And the thing is, to really go for something and to put it all out there and to not get it publicly is incredibly hard psychologically. Definitely. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who's watching, that their potential is to get a gold medal and they're all going to go out and publicly try and get one. But I do think if you are going to really go for something, you need to make sure that you are mentally prepared for missing the mark or for having challenges on the way, and that you have the right support to do that. Because you know, that can be hard. Like, I have pushed myself to maybe speak in front of bigger audiences, and it's gone really well, but it could have not gone well.
Yes.
And say my entire living and worth was based on being a public speaker, which it isn't. That could have been a disaster. So I do think there's like a self-care element where it's like, work out where you want to push yourself. What potential do you have? What do you want to find out that you're capable of? But if it's something that means going out on a limb, make sure you've got, like Aaron's got a fantastic coach. You know, a lot of sports people work with psychologists. Definitely. But what support have you got? Coaching, a partner, a backup plan, all those things. And that means that when you go and then actually try and do that thing, you'll be more successful, because your brain isn't like, if this doesn't go well, I'm going to die.
Exactly. And there's a really lovely quote where that little voice, this isn't the quote, I'll get to the quote in a second. It's that little voice where it's like, I think there's more to it, or I could be doing more. That little voice will start to pop up more regularly for you. And number one, like, if you're not sure, or you're feeling, or you haven't got those wonderful options and the people to catch you in place, especially if you're going to, as far as our primitive brain's concerned, sacrifice ourselves on the altar of public dignity, then it's having those options. If you don't have those options in place, there's nothing wrong with just doing nothing. Sometimes the best decision is a decision to wait, or to just do nothing and just gather some more information. That is absolutely fine. That said, what I find sometimes with my clients is, and this is where the quote comes in, and the day came when it remained too painful to stay like within the chrysalis rather than bloom. And people do get to that point where it's like, it's now too painful to stay where I am, and therefore that step forward, however uncomfortable, is now the natural next step to fulfilling our potential.
Wow, I love that. That seems like a wonderful quote to end on.
Yes, I was quite proud of myself for that. Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you, my love. As always, like, you've given me so much to think about, and like, you've just given me your wonderful insight, which is always so valuable, and I'm appreciative of you.
And you too. I love these conversations because we genuinely do not prepare. So we have no I know we shouldn't admit that. That sounds like negligence, but we do it because we want these conversations to be really real and authentic. And so every time, we've no idea what the other person's going to share. And every time I take away something that helps me personally. So thank you.
Me too. No, thank you. Mwah. And thank you to all of you too. We're so pleased that you show up for us and show up for yourselves. And as always, if you can like, comment, share this lovely podcast, we would be very appreciative.